Hi, y'all. I'm here with tonight's honoree. It's Vince Gill and both of his daughters. You guys all look absolutely fabulous and you're beaming, even though I heard you say you're pretty uncomfortable right now. Is that still true?
Yeah, it's interesting because I was never one that coveted the spotlight. When I was a kid, I wasn't the guy that had a hairbrush, posing in the mirror. I had my head down trying to figure out how to learn how to play a guitar. I always liked being in the band, and I still do. Even though I've had a solo career for 40 years, I just felt like I was the guitar player in the band that sang the songs. And that's never changed, and I don't think it ever will. That's what Don Henley said about me. Is my favorite compliment that I got from him was, they asked him, said, why the country guy in the Eagles? And he said, he knows how to be in a band. So it's all I've ever done. It's all I know. No surprises.
Is there ever a moment, especially when this happens and you're kind of looking back at your career and you're like, dang, I really wish I wouldn't have chosen a career that was so in the spotlight? Does that ever occur in your mind at all?
Not really. I mean, I don't mind the spotlight, but I don't covet it. And there's a big difference. A lot of people they live for attention, and I don't. I never have. And I love being creative, and with being creative comes what comes. And so with that, I just, I answered the phone when it rang all these years, and whoever was on the other end, I'd say, okay, I can do that. And I got here.
And in you talk about this long career that you've had, and it's been a beautiful one, and so many awesome things have happened for you. Was there a big career obstacle you had that you look back on and you're like, that one was pretty tough to get through?
You know what? I never worried. I never had a kind of perception of success or failure being whether I had hit records or not. Because I always had the piece about me that knew whether it worked out for me or not as an artist, I could go play with anybody, and I knew I had enough talent to go and get jobs and work and play in the studio or play on people's records or travel with somebody like Rodney's here tonight, Rodney Crowell. And that's one of my favorite stretches of life, was just being his lead guitar player and harmony singer. I knew I was needed, and I knew I was pretty good at it, so it gave me more confidence, I guess, in a way, or it may not be the right word, but it always, like I said, whether I had hit records or not, that was never much of a focus for me.
You do have a lot of talents, and you can play all these instruments and do all these things. Do you have any random talents that nobody knows about? And maybe both of your daughters know more than you do here.
Jenny, do I have any talent?
Oh my gosh, he can impersonate people really well. Like,
oh, now I'm gonna have to hear this.
I mean, it might not be like a crew member or a bandmate with a funny way of speaking. Like he can impersonate anybody. And I just remember when I was little, one of our favorite games, we'd turn down the volume of the TV, and he would do all the voices for people on the TV, and they'd have crazy New York accents. And he's always performing, whether he's on the stage or not. He loves to entertain.
Is that true?
Well, I guess I do. I do for them. I do for these kids. It made it fun for them. And that's probably the biggest part of life to me, is having some fun. My family were joke tellers. We told dirty jokes. We had a lot of laughs, and that's what we did, and it was my normal.
Well, then you have two options here. You can either give me your favorite impression, or you can tell me a dirty joke.
Well, I don't think I don't know if I should do either, but I'll tell you here's a good impersonation story. The CMAs one year went to New York. First time they ever did it, only time they ever did it. And James Gandolfini from The Sopranos was one of the presenters that night. And so he's in the audience, and I'm going to go do the presentation for Glenn Campbell getting into the Hall of Fame. So they introduce me, and I walk out to the mic and look around and I go, "Hey, how you doing?" And whoever was sitting with James, he turned to him and said, "I didn't know he was from here." And the guy goes, "He's not," So I finished my bit. James Gandolfini is coming to do his bit. And he walked by me and goes, "Hey, that was pretty good."
Hey, that's a pretty high compliment, I feel like.
I would think so.
And you are a big family man. You have both your daughters here with you tonight. I want to know, being a girl dad, what's the one thing you've learned being a girl dad? Because there is a difference. I grew up in a family full of girls. and there's a difference. You learn a lot of things.
Well, I think it's good for men to have daughters. And I think it's good for women to have sons, you know. And I've got 3 other kids that I kind of helped raise, and a big part of their lives, Matt, Millie, and Sarah. And they're not here tonight, but you know, I think you stay out of the way as much as you can. I would bet that Jenny would tell you I was a much different father for her than she's watched me be with Karina. But a lot of that's probably because I didn't know what the hell I was doing when Jenny came along, and I was just trying to figure it out. And probably did things like my dad did or like my mom did, and some good, some bad, you know. But just everything you're doing is the best you got, you know, at the time, and time will kind of heal everything.
That's some great parenting advice from Vince Gill. And with both of your daughters here, I do want to know, there's this trend on social media that people, they want to know the dog breeds of what you would represent. And I want to know from your daughter's eyes, if Vince Gill was a dog breed, who would he be? Or a cat. It could be a cat or another animal.
It'd have to be a giant dog, right?
Hey, it can be whatever you want.
Tonight is the Giants.
It's all about the personality.
So Great Dane. We'll go with Great Dane.
Great
Bull
Dane.
Mastiff. That's a big dog.
Well, we're going on personality here. So do you feel like you're a Great Dane in personality?
I've never had a Great Dane. I've only had a couple of dogs in my life. They'd know better. They know more about dogs than I do. I like dogs.
Okay,
you know?
so we got a Great Dane. What do you say?
Oh man, I feel like Great Danes are very like aggressive and big and scary, and you're cuddly and you're like a gentle giant.
Oh, like a Great Pyrenees. Maybe that's
Okay,
what we got.
Let's go with that. I can't
Yeah.
even spell it or pronounce it. Let's go with that one.
No,
Can you say mutt? Does a mutt count?
hey, you
I
can
would
say
be
whatever
a
you
pretty
want.
good mutt. I'd be a one of a rescue dog. Let's
Hey,
make me a rescue dog.
Those are the best kind. I love that. Now I want to know one more thing from you. Tonight we're going to hear a lot of your songs and we're going to hear a lot of memories. If you had one favorite memory in your entire career that just stands out above the rest, what is it?
Oh gosh, favorite memory. It's crazy to even think. You know, I think just having a hit record was such a relief to me because I'd been here for 7 or 8 years with no success, with a lot of struggles. A lot of people go, he sings too good to not have hit records. And maybe the songs weren't good enough. I don't know, you know, and there's no point in trying to go back and piece it together and figure it out. It just, what happened. But the relief that I felt when I finally had a song that really connected with everybody and was one of those career kind of records, it was, I think, more relief than anything else. Like, because I had turned down a great gig with Dire Straits right before that. And it was at a time where I kind of was struggling a little bit, not sure what I should do. And I figured if I took that gig that maybe that would derail my country music career. And I said, I think I have something to offer country music and I'd like to continue to try that. So I turned down Mark Knopfler's offer to be in Dire Straits, which would have been a great move financially and help pay for the house and all kinds of stuff like that. But I said, if I don't bet on me, nobody else is going to. So I just did the not so bright thing and just kept believing in myself, and it worked out. I just got lucky.
Well, I think that's why we're all standing here tonight to honor you, is because you did bet on yourself. And I'm really glad that you did. I think your daughters are too, and they seem very proud, beaming with lots of pride. But thank you for joining us. I'm excited to watch tonight, and I hope you don't cry too much, but I also hope you do. That means it's good things, right?
That's right. And I got to get back to the pound after we get done.
Thank you guys again for joining me.